What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Pro Talks, where we go beyond the profession to uncover the stories, challenges, and journeys behind successful professionals. I'm your host, Barrett Ball, and today's guest is someone some of you may already know. The last time she joined us, we had an incredible conversation alongside her husband about credit, legacy, and building generational wealth. This time, we're taking a different approach. Today isn't just about credit. It's about the woman behind the brand. We're talking entrepreneurship, money, marriage, mindset, and experiences that shape the person so many people have come to trust. Without further ado, welcome back to Pro Talks, Mrs. Jocanna Brown. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing great.
Thank you for coming back, spinning the block on us, blessing the platform.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So for the viewers that don't know already, so we've had some people that just recently joined the Pro Talks community. If you don't mind, giving the viewers a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. So I am a wife and a mother
Mhm.
of two beautiful children. I am in the credit industry, right, where I help individuals with personal credit, business credit, kind of just prepping them to get them ready, whether it's for a home purchase, car purchase, business. And most importantly, I am a woman of faith. So,
Absolutely. Emphasis on faith.
because you're going to need it as an entrepreneur. So,
Facts. Facts. All right. So to get started, I call this segment behind the brand. So in this segment, we want to get, of course, you've already told us a little bit about who you are, but we want to get to know you a little bit more behind uh, the business per se. So my first question for you is who, I know you gave a little bit of synopsis. Who is Jocanna Brown when the cameras are off?
Whoa, when the cameras are off,
Mhm.
Jocanna is a mess. No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm kidding. I'd be all over the place, seriously. No, but off the camera, I mean, again, I'm a woman of faith.
Mhm.
I'm a wife, a mom. I literally am just someone who loves to make an impact,
Mhm.
loves to serve people, love to have a good time with loved ones,
Mhm.
love the gym,
Mhm.
love peace, all things peace.
Yes.
So, off camera, I mean, I'm just who I am. Just, mommy, wifey, Jimsy,
Jimsy taking it easy.
taking
Yeah,
it easy. So,
yeah. I feel you on that one. I don't know. She told. Can I tell them what you said before we? Before we, she was like, would it be okay if she came in a hoodie and a t-shirt or sweats? I was like, yeah, this Pro Talks.
yeah.
Come as you are, come comfortable. You know what I mean?
I
That would
mean,
have been completely fine if that's who you are behind the camera. No,
listen, off camera, I'm literally just
yeah.
day and night from what y'all are seeing right now. I'm literally just want to be in a hoodie, sweats, my hair be looking crazy,
Yeah.
like all the things. But that's just who I am.
I feel you. I feel you. All right. So if someone who knew you before the business looked at your life today, um, what would you think would surprise them the most?
Um, Prior to the business, that I became an entrepreneur, really, because anybody who knows me prior to the business knows that I was in the property management industry. So that was my career. I was in it for 14 years. I was actually in a really good space. I was managing a high rise in Midtown Atlanta, living rent free, all the things. And so to leave all of that and become an entrepreneur, we know that entrepreneurship has its highs and its lows, and there's just no, certainty,
Big transition.
So
Mhm.
I think that they'd be surprised that I actually took that leap of faith and, became an entrepreneur. And I'm here just making the impact that I'm making thus far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say it was like I'm sure, obviously it was a big transition between
Yeah.
going from like, a 9 to 5 every day to day into a full-time entrepreneurship.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Full-time entrepreneurship. So if you could speak a little bit about how that transition was.
Yeah. It's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
For one, right?
Definitely tested my faith.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, like entrepreneurship is definitely, it was scary at first, really my husband was the one who talked me into getting into entrepreneurship. When he talked about us going into business together, I said, well, what does that look like? He kind of gave me a little, he was like, well, listen, this is the plan and this is what we're going to do. And I said, okay, but I can't work the job and do that. He's like, no, we could do this. Like, take the leap of faith. And, it was just scary, to leave what was certainty, right? What was
Secure.
Secure, to just, you're telling me some days we may make money, some days we may not, some weeks may be good, some weeks may not be good. Oh no, life feels pretty good where we're at right now, and so it was scary, but honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world now. Like, I love entrepreneurship, highs and lows. I mean, I think that, even through adversity, it's built who I am. It's built who I'm becoming. And I always share, like, there's just, adversity will help you build like a character.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Character, and would you say it's like would you say it helps build you spiritually as well? Like
Oh, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Because again, it's like there's days when you just don't know. There's days when you're questioning, if this is where God really wants you to be, and so you just gotta be very anchored in your faith and in your purpose. And you have, as an entrepreneur, at least for me, you have a lot of conversations with God. Like, you just, you can't do it without him. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I know you mentioned that your husband, shout out to bro, shout out to D.
Hey,
I know you mentioned he played a part in inspiring you to become an entrepreneur, but besides that, what are some of the other things that motivated you to make that transition?
Just like right when I got into, well, first and foremost, as a community manager, when I was in property management, I knew the importance of credit because I used to decline people daily because they didn't have substantial credit to even rent an apartment. So I just knew that there was such a need. And it got to the point where I wanted to be a part of the solution. So, when he talked to me about it, it was scary, but it all made sense, and so he used to just always tell me, like, babe, there's just so much power within you. Like, there's so much more that you can be doing outside of being behind that desk. And I was like, okay. So, ended up taking that leap of faith. But when I got in it and I saw that I was actually a part of the solution and helping these individuals and these families get into their homes, that was rewarding for me.
Yeah.
So then that became kind of like that motivation, like, wait a minute, especially within like my community, I'm Hispanic. And so I learned that it was just really just lack of education. And so a lot of these individuals, all they wanted was someone to just really provide them the education and guide them. Like, a lot of people come here, from other countries or are here, and they don't know about credit. They don't know, financial literacy. They don't know any of these things. They don't know how to leverage a credit card. They don't know any of these things. And so when they have someone that's here to provide them that information, that value, and help them reach their goals, that just changes the game.
That's good right there.
Yeah.
For sure. So like you would say the outcome is kind of like what motivates you the most. Like I guess how it can help people, like, in the long run.
Oh yeah. Because they, especially for like Latinos, one of their biggest dreams is to be a homeowner, is to have the American dream and have and own a home. And sometimes they feel like it's not attainable, and it's
Just
very
because
much
they feel like they're at a
attainable.
disadvantage and just because of the world we live in.
The world that we live in, and then, just like when it comes to credit and not knowing, but instilling that hope in them to let them know, no, it is possible. If you're willing to trust the process and follow the guidance that we give you, we can make it happen. And so just being able to do that on a day-to-day basis, it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man. Yeah. That's very rewarding. I mean, entrepreneurship is, while it's hard, it could be, it's very rewarding if you put the work in. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know the behind the scenes.
They don't know how to say
what I gotta do to get them to their goal. But boy, when we get these
there.
goals, success. For sure.
Was there ever a season wherein you questioned whether this journey was for you?
Yes.
Plenty of times.
Yes. I mean, I've been in seasons where I've felt like stagnant,
Mhm.
stuck,
Mhm.
you know, and I'm like, again, you go back to God, you know, like,
Yeah.
God, is this really where you want me to be? You go
Mhm.
back into prayer. You know, but again, it's what I do is fulfilling. It's I feel like I am living and walking in my purpose, you
Absolutely.
know, and so it doesn't always come easy.
Mhm.
But I know that this is where he wants me to be. So,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I'm a stay in it, stick
Mhm.
around, you know, highs and lows. We gonna make it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you know, I grew up with this one of my actual TO high school teachers used to say this saying all the time. And he used to say, you know, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your
Oh,
life.
100%. 100%.
And that's kind of like going, you know, to
Oh,
what
yeah.
you said. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, if you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like
It
work.
doesn't feel like work. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
Hmm.
like, again, you have your highs and your lows, but it really doesn't feel like work.
Right.
You know? And
Right.
and when you have a passion for it too, like it really doesn't feel like work. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. What's one challenge that shaped the leader you've become today?
Ooh. One challenge, many challenges. I think one challenge is really, I feel like it's been just figuring it out on my own
Mm.
or with my husband
Mhm.
because we own the business and it's just me and him,
Mhm.
right? Like
Mhm.
we don't have direct mentors. Like he's been my mentor,
Yeah.
you know. But when we talk about having a team,
Mhm.
you know, we've had team members, but we haven't had like a big team. Like it's just been me and him, and we've been able to rock it out and we've been able to do it. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So I think that for me has been the biggest challenge is just me and him getting creative
Mhm.
on scaling our business
Mhm.
and taking it to where it is till this
To
day,
this day,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Man, it's like a two-headed sword. Like y'all just knocking it out. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir. We tag
Yeah.
team every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a blessing though, man. You know, what was I gonna say? I feel like, you know, when we talk about, you know, union and like marriage
Mhm.
and things like that, like especially when it comes to like in the business aspect, I feel like people underestimate the power of union. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially when it comes to like work. I mean, I know you know, people talk about being in union as it relates to life, but
Mhm.
when it comes to like owning a business together,
Oh, yeah.
two is always better than one.
It is.
And
It is.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of married people too. I feel like a lot of people operate as individuals, you know,
Mm.
when they could, you know,
Yeah.
put themselves at an advantage, you know, by teaming up with their
Oh,
partner,
yeah.
and you know, y'all
Yeah.
be a power to be reckoned
Oh,
with. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
because I mean, he has his strengths, like I have my strengths,
Hmm.
and then where my weaknesses, areas that I'm weak at, he's strong at, and
Hmm.
vice versa. And
Hmm.
so, you know, we come together. I mean, it ain't always cool,
Yeah, of course.
but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We put the wife and husband hat down, and we business partners right now, so
Right,
we got to get to business,
right.
you know. But it's a beautiful thing to be able to build it together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely for sure. Um, My last question of this segment is talks about well, it talks around the realms of success.
Mhm.
So, what does success mean to you in comparison to what it meant to you 5 years ago?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because 5 years ago,
Hmm.
success party would have looked like, what are those bags?
The
The
Goyard
designer
bag.
bags, the Birkins, and the cars,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
all of that, right? Which I
yeah,
mean, all those things are nice.
for
Don't get me
sure,
wrong,
for
right?
sure. Yeah.
But success for me really looks like peace
Hmm.
and still having a balanced life. And what I mean by that is, you know, still being able to be present in my children's lives, right? Their cheer, my daughter's in cheer, so her cheer practices and competitions.
Hmm.
My son's, you know, football practices and football games. Still be present with my husband, you know, all of those things. So having a well-balanced life, having a peaceful life while still making an impact,
Hmm.
is what I would define success at. It's not all about just
The glitz and
the
glam.
glitz and glam and the, you know, all of those things are great, but
Hmm.
you know, I don't. want to lose myself in the process of building
Mhm.
something so big,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
So I want to be able to have a balanced life, a quality life, and
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah,
overall.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people underestimate the intangibles because, like, you know, it's easy to get caught up in, like you said, the glitz and glam. Easy
Yeah.
to get caught up in the material things. And, a lot of people find themselves so caught up in those things, and then they looking like, they're like, dang, I'm not happy, or I'm not,
Yeah.
at peace. Like,
You can
know what I
have
mean?
all of those things, but not be fulfilled.
Exactly.
You know, and
Exactly.
so fulfillment is everything, you know.
Mhm.
So that's another one. Success is
Success.
fulfillment. Yeah. So.
Right, right, right. Okay, so yeah, going to the next same this ugh, I cannot talk today. The next segment, which is called Money Talks.
Okay.
So in this segment, we're going to talk about, of course, money, not just credit scores, but
Okay.
the habits and mindset behind financial success.
Okay.
So my question is, what is the biggest financial mistake you see people making today?
Mm. Um,
Out of the many.
not checking their credit reports.
Yeah.
Not checking their credit reports.
Mhm.
Waiting until waiting until they need their credit to take action.
Mhm.
For example, we work with a lot of like realtors and loan officers. And so, when they have clients that are ready to purchase a home and they run them, they're not qualified, and so then they're looking like, oh my gosh, I got to fix my credit. Well, why did you wait till the very last minute to fix your credit?
Mhm.
Why? Because they weren't checking their credit profile. So not checking their credit profile to identify what's on their credit. Also, these credit cards, I mean, just maxing them out,
Yeah.
not knowing how to properly utilize their credit cards.
Mhm.
Often I hear clients say, well, I use the credit card and I pay it right back. Okay, but do you know when you're paying them by? Do you know the difference between a due date and a statement date?
Mhm.
Like, those type of things. So it's like not maxing out their credit cards or not knowing how to properly leverage their
Leverage it.
credit cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And kind of having that, using, like you said, that financial literacy because like you said, if you pay a credit card and you pay it back, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you paid it back, but
Yeah,
did you
but when
pay it
did you
on time, or
yeah,
did you pay
yeah,
it?
when
Yeah.
did you pay it? Because they're like,
Yeah.
okay, if your due date was on the 24th and you're like, I paid it by the 24th, but I used it on the 26th, but you don't understand when your statement date is and when it reports to the bureaus, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Then they get the notification from
Yeah.
Experian or whoever and be
Yeah.
like, hey, your credit score went down.
yeah, why
They're
is
like, what
that I paid
happened?
it? Well,
Right,
you
right.
paid it and you used it right back up and it reported. Like, so yeah, one of the things that I see that they just
Yeah, I got you. What's one financial habit everyone should build regardless of income?
check your
Check your
credit.
credits.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
check your credit reports
Yeah.
because unfortunately, more than 82% of consumers have errors on their credit reports where it's not
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Every 2 to 3 seconds, somebody falls victim of identity theft. So it's just a good practice to have a reputable like credit monitoring where you are checking your credit consistently, just to make sure you know what's on there, and if there's anything that's on there that is not yours, you can attack it ahead of time,
Yeah. Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's just, yeah. So check your credit reports.
Check your credit report, regardless how much you make. Even if you make, I mean,
Yeah.
you need to see what's going on. I can speak personally for myself. Recently, I just realized that I had a random address on my credit report,
Yeah, you
like
see?
Florida. I'm like, I went to school in Florida, but I never permanently lived there.
Yeah.
And it was like a South Florida address. I'm like, what the
Oh no,
heck?
you got to get that
I had to
out
get that
because
disputed.
there's
Yeah.
any debt associated to
I
that
had to get that
address.
dispute going. Yeah.
100%. So
Yeah.
that's what we're saying. It's like
Keep an eye on it.
it's just a good habit to have to
Mhm.
just check it frequently,
Yeah.
just to make sure that you can challenge those things ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about like the people who have like anxiety, behind checking their reports? I feel like what's stopping a lot of people from doing it is check,
We call that financial trauma.
Yeah,
I feel like we
yeah,
have financial trauma,
yeah.
at the end of the day, I say two things: hold the bull by the horns,
Yep.
and you can't hit a target that you can't see.
Yeah.
So you gotta face. You can't face what you're not willing to face.
Mhm.
So you have to just face it. Just here, the beautiful thing about life is that everything has a solution.
Exactly.
I tell all my clients that. I'm like,
Exactly.
literally everything in life has a solution. So don't focus too much on the problem and focus on the solution. But we can't get to a solution if we're not able to face
Face the
it,
problem.
look at it, and say, okay, let's identify what we need to do so that we can get this credit where it needs to be. So
Absolutely. Head on, y'all hear? Head on. Face it head on.
yes.
And there's always a solution. That's absolutely true. Um for my so my question would be for my 6-figure earners. Do you feel like 6-figure earners and up can still be financially unhealthy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yes. Because just because you make the money, it doesn't mean you're financially healthy. Just because you make somebody can make, $150,000 and spend $170,000.
Yeah.
Opposed to someone who has $70,000, makes $70,000. They have a budget plan in place, savings, investments, all of these things. So, just because you have that amount of money doesn't mean that you know how to properly manage that amount of money. So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I was watching a reel actually last night, and one of the guys was like, the danger zone for most people is 150 when they make 150,000 a year and up.
Yeah.
And it was like because people kind of get real excited that they never made this type of money
Yeah.
before, but then they because of that they don't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not, they don't have, again, a budget in place. They don't have a plan in action. They don't have, a savings account. They don't, you know what I'm saying? So when you don't have that financial health or that financial literacy, then you can't manage it appropriately. You got to know what's coming in and what's coming out. You have to be able to see that. You have to be able to know where that money is going.
Absolutely.
And properly allocate it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's definitely true. Going back to like the social media piece, and you guys have you guys have a really big presence on social media from what I see. Y'all, I be like, dang, I see bro and sis. Hey, they pushing that social media. But it's a good marketing tool. Yeah. So kudos to y'all for that. But what do you feel like is the biggest myth social media has created about wealth, the concept of, finances?
Oh, listen, social media is just something. I tell y'all, I can't stand it, but I understand the value in it, right? But I just think that it's just the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, people just put what they want you to see. Again, the glitz, the glance, all of those things, So I think that people just get it really confused. Okay. Like, you're just seeing success doesn't always look loud.
Yep.
Success doesn't always, put everything out on the table. The cars and the bags and the trips and the this and the that and whatever else these people be putting out there, But tell them to show you their balance sheet.
Yeah.
Why don't they show you that? Tell them to show you some investments, some assets. I don't know. Show that. Like what do you have to show for it? Because trust me, my husband and I, we personally know people with, hundreds and thousands, even millions of followers and the little check and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't even own a car.
That's crazy.
So you can't go with the hype. You can't go with everything that you see on social media. Like, people are just going to post what they want you to see at the end of the day.
Exactly. And there's very few people, if any, that show the bad days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know my stories, you won't see some bad
the
days.
bad
You won't
days.
see me looking at crazy on a bad day. You don't see it all.
If everyone watching made one financial change this week, what would you want it to be? I know you talk about credit, but check your report.
Like this.
Yeah, that's important though, for sure.
But seriously, because listen, when you get ready to invest into something, whether it's a home or a car, like, it all revolves around credit at the end of the day. Like we all have goals, right? At some point, we're gonna need our credit.
Yeah.
You know, so just keep an eye on it. Just you are able to download a free credit report once a year.
Yeah.
For free.
For free.
You know, so do that
Yep.
at the very least.
Yeah.
You know what's on there
Mhm.
and attack it head on
Mhm.
and make sure that you are in position. What's that saying? It says, stay prepared so you don't have to get prepared.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, stay on it. Like,
Yep.
this is credit is way too important to be taken lightly.
Yeah.
Like, it truly is.
It's like the adult, back in school, your report card or your transcript.
Yeah.
That's the adult transcript,
Yeah.
adult report card. Yeah.
Protect it with your life. You will
Mhm.
need it one day. I promise you will.
Yeah.
Shoot, if you want to get to the next level, if you got goals, you're gonna need it at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is gonna take a short break in the episode and go into a segment of what I like to call locked in trivia. It's like my favorite segment where we take a break, play a little game, ask some trivia questions.
Okay.
Totally unrelated to the topic. No pressure. But but yeah, it's just a list of 5 questions, multiple choice. You answer them, what you feel is the best answer, and yeah, have a little fun.
That's good.
All right. So the first question is, what is the only mammal capable of true flight?
The only who?
Mammal. Like that going all the way back to 2nd grade.
What are the multiple choice answers?
Dang, look, see, this is so authentic. Pro Dogs, I forgot to have the choice. I just got the answer.
What?
Just got the answer there. So which one do you think?
I definitely don't have
Just
to
at random.
yeah, I no.
All right.
We're gonna have to go to the next one.
That's my bad, y'all. That's my bad.
On the spot.
Right. All right. So the answer to that one is a bat.
A bat?
Yeah, it's a bat.
I
Nobody would. I wouldn't have guessed that either. So, all right. So the next question is, which Disney movie features the song Hakuna Matata?
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the Lion King.
Yeah. Correct. There you go.
I got kids.
Yeah.
And I was a kid once too. So
Right. All right. So question number 3 is, how many hearts does an octopus have?
How many hearts?
Yeah.
I don't know, 2?
Close.
2,
You want to take another? Yeah.
3?
Correct.
Oh, that was such a guess, y'all.
Hey, you 2 for what? 2 for?
I was
2 for
trying
3?
to think about all their little
Right.
things, and I was trying to.
I asked the same question on like the last with like the fatherhood episode, and none of them knew.
Oh,
Like I was like, yeah.
I was trying to put a heart to several legs.
Yeah.
I don't know. 2.
Heart, several legs. They gotta have something. You can't operate off one heart. I mean, that makes sense. Number 4. Which U.S. state is known as the Peach State?
Georgia.
Right.
We in it right.
We in it right now.
Boy, the peach day was hot today.
Super hot. Well, I was tired. I needed some coffee before we started the episode. And the last question is, which fast food restaurant is famous for the Frosty?
Wendy's?
Yep.
Wendy's?
Yep.
I know kids because I don't eat at Wendy's.
You know Wendy's? Nah, yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Not so. I mean, Jeremiah, he loves the biggie bag, all that.
Our kids too.
You're
When
right.
we're eating Wendy's, they used to love the Frosty.
Yes, yep.
So that's how I know. But
Yep.
we done upgraded to the Chick-fil-A.
To the Chick-fil-A, yeah. Chick-fil-A is, in my opinion, no shots at Wendy's. Chick-fil-A, we know it's sponsored. Not Chick-fil-A does have better milkshakes.
Yes, they do 1,000%.
Right.
I do emphasize on that.
Exactly. Well, thank you for playing, having a little fun. So we're going to jump back into the episode with segment 3. This segment is a little bit more, it's about love, life, and the hustle.
Okay. Woo.
And my first question in this segment is, how has marriage changed the way you think about money?
Mm-hmm. Well, for one, it's not just yours anymore. It's both of ours.
Yeah,
So with that comes a lot of communication, a lot of planning ahead, because you got to be mindful that, at the end of the day, you got to be responsible with the money, because it's no longer yours, it's both of yours, right? And so any drastic decisions that you make, can affect the other party. And if you have a family, if you have children, it could potentially affect your children. So
Absolutely.
just realizing that it's not just you anymore. It's you and your spouse, and then also your family, so there's just a lot of conversations that come around that, a lot of planning ahead. So yeah.
Gotcha. Do you feel like was that something that you and Dee had to kind of grow into, like once you guys got married, or was it like something that just like you guys kind of just adopted immediately?
You know what? Immediately. And that's something that we always share. Like when me and him got together, which y'all, we the man proposed to me within 4 months. Okay.
He know what he wants. That's all it
Yeah.
is.
Like we're going to celebrate 14 years of unity together.
That's a blessing. Yeah.
But yes, early on, we were literally engaged and we merged everything. And we literally said, you know what? What's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. And we've just been like that since the very beginning. We've always had conversations around our finances. We've always, done our best to plan ahead. And, as we got older and mature, like we became more and more responsible, more and more intentional. But that's just something that we've done since the very beginning.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful though, because I mean, a lot of times you hear the common story of people like having it, trouble with that adjusting,
Or even having it separate,
exactly,
even in marriage.
exactly,
Like,
exactly. So man, that's
not the
cool.
Browns.
Yeah. Shout out to the Browns, man. That's excellent. Because that's my first time really hearing, that in that, especially during the engagement process. I think some people are so focused on the planning of the wedding and all that stuff that they lose sight of this is the trial period of marriage. Like, this is get your practice in right now. You know what I mean? So that's beautiful.
100%. And we were actually, he knew about what was going on with me. I knew what was going on with him.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we gonna work it out together. But there's life after the wedding, after marriage.
Absolutely.
And so I don't, looking back, I'm like, wow, I think it's it worked for us. It's a beautiful thing that we were able to think that way from the beginning, and we didn't go in it like, oh, that's mine, that's mine. Like we came in it like, you know what, we're gonna build together. And so
That's beautiful. What's one conversation every couple should have before getting married?
yeah, let's talk about
Of the many things,
right. Finances. How's your credit? How much debt do you have? I want to know what I'm getting myself
I need to know. I need to know what I'm getting myself into.
What is your relationship with money? What is your relationship with finances? Like, I think a lot of people go into relationships like blindsided, and we're not talking about, but even our sermon, where lately, like
facts,
we're not asking the right questions, right? Like we just getting caught up in the fun and the feel good, and that.
Hey, PD, he cut up last Sunday. You thought about
it. I was like, wait a minute. Like, yes, you gotta. What does your finances look like? Like, I mean, listen, it's 2026. Like, we need to have conversations about
absolutely
what your credit look like. What are you looking to? What's your 3 to 5 year plan? Are you financially prepared for that? Like, I think we need to have more conversations around finances and credit and goals, and not so much of you pretty and you cute and what can you do for me, and
PD he said people get so caught up in we had you folded like a pretzel.
Listen, he took people on with that folded like a pretzel. Okay, boy, I saw, boy. I think it made it to the news.
What are some what are some of the things that's haunting you? Your mind. The demons you're facing. Those type of things. That's important. Yeah.
What trauma are you bringing in
Exactly.
here? Like,
Exactly.
let's talk about it.
Exactly.
Because I mean, those are conversations that are very much necessary.
Absolutely.
Especially in 2026.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
For sure. For sure. How do you and Dee balance building a business while protecting your relationship?
Well, first we know how to differentiate the two. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we know when to turn on that hat of husband and wife and when to turn it off.
Mhm.
Like we're very big. We don't mix personal and business.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, he's better at that than I am.
Really?
Like, yeah, like we can, be talking about one thing
Mhm.
and then I can maybe feel some type of way.
Mhm.
And now he's like, okay, well, it's this time and this time to shoot a piece of content. And I'm like, how can I shoot content? Like I can't. He was like, well, this is something separate from business. I mean, and I'm like, oh my God. So, but just really knowing how to separate the two,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like, our marriage is our marriage
Mhm.
and our business is our business.
Business, yeah.
And so sometimes it could get a little tricky,
Of course.
because at the end of the day, we're still human. We're still husband and wife. We do like pretty much everything together.
Yeah, for sure.
Like husband and wife, work out together, build the business together,
Yeah.
Go on speaking stuff together, seminars together, like
Mhm.
all of it.
All of it, yeah.
And so, we have gotten so much better with just, okay, you know what? Business is business, personal is personal. When we're talking business, we don't attach emotions to it.
Mhm.
That's where I've
Uh,
improved, okay? I've
You
improved.
improved.
Okay. But he's really good. He knows how to shut it off and shut it on.
Yeah.
He knows how to shut it off, shut it on, so yeah.
Man, do you guys have like what do you call it? Like a little thing y'all do like to, separate like a saying, like or something like that to separate the two? Or like.
Well, to be honest with you, I just be like, okay,
Okay.
I need
Whistle.
because he's really good. Me, I'm just like, okay, I need some time. Like,
Mhm.
all right, we gotta cut right now, and that's with whichever.
Yeah.
Because as business owners and as business partners, because not only are we business owners, but we're business partners. So
Right.
sometimes we can have conversations around, what we feel is in the best interest of our company, moves and planning and implementations and things like that. And it's like, if we don't agree, it can't be wifey getting in her way and like, no, it has to be like, okay, why do you feel like this is not a good move? Like
Mhm.
it has to be business owner hats on. So
Mhm.
I like to kind of pull away,
Mhm.
when I feel like I'm probably I'm allowing my emotions to get in the way.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be like, hey, listen, can we revisit? Like, or I need to just go on a coffee break
Yeah.
or maybe just go for a walk and then we come back and revisit it. But we know to cut it off. We have this thing where we call friendship time.
Yeah.
So we do that in the evenings. Try to do it like by 7, a little bit after 7,
Gotcha.
where we kind of come together and we just kind of talk about our day. It's kind of like our check-in moment. Like, how do you feel? Like, how was your day? How was business? Is there anything that we need to talk about?
Right.
Like now we're in husband-wife mode,
Yeah.
but we're also kind of touching on our day, even if it has to do with business, but we're not really talking about business, if that makes sense.
I get what you
Yeah.
mean. I get what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah, it seems like and correct me if I'm wrong, like when you guys are, like you said, you guys do pretty much everything together. It's good to have like, that separation of, the different things, compartmentalizing, those
Yeah.
different parts of y'all life
Oh,
because,
yeah.
it's easy to kind of have it all meshed together and
Oh, yeah.
everything just, you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta kind of just keep that marriage still going and
Yeah.
that spice still going. And so, we also do like weekly date days.
Mhm.
With kids, it's kind of hard to do date nights.
Of course. Yeah.
So it was fun because we were taking our daughter to school the other day,
Yeah.
and I had sent them like a little post from Instagram, or showed him the little post on Instagram, and
Mhm.
it said something down the lines of it's have lunch while the kids are at school time season or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, 100%, because that's kind of what we do. Like Fridays would be like our days where we'll have lunch together while the kids are at school.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's kind of like our, like, no matter what's going on,
Also
we're
kind
gonna
of
take a lunch break together on Fridays, just me and you, before these kids come home prior to the weekend. So but it's we implement those things because, like you mentioned, you can get so consumed with work and business that you start to put each other to the side.
Yeah.
And so we
Absolutely.
don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's excellent that y'all have that stuff in place.
Yeah.
So the last question of the segment, you know, we gonna keep it real. You know,
Yeah.
keeping it real with the Browns on Pro Talks. You know what I mean? So this last question is, what's something people assume about your marriage that's completely inaccurate?
See, y'all be looking on social media, like thinking like we got it all figured out. Like, I don't know. I feel like people just feel like, I don't know, like we've heard it from friends, family, loved ones, like we're just this perfect couple. And it's, none of us are perfect. We're not perfect. Like, we're real people, real human beings that have real challenges, and it's just how do we handle it? Like, you might see us, on the beach or out eating or doing all these things, but behind all of that, like, we put in work, in our marriage, in business, to be able to have all of that, but those things come with highs and lows and challenges, and every conversation ain't always a great conversation.
Absolutely.
And, like, you building an empire, so our conversations can sometimes get a little tense, where we're like, okay, hold on, wait a minute, all right, we're not agreeing, and again, it's him and I building, right? So it's like we got to come to a medium.
Exactly.
So I would just say, like, people just look on social media and think that everything is like perfect, but nothing's ever perfect. We are two human beings that love each other very much, that are building something dynamic, that are out here making an impact. We love to serve. And sometimes it's just, you see all the beautiful thing on social media, but it doesn't always come easy.
Right.
But we make it work. We make it work.
Yeah. The idea, like the fact that everybody, we're humans at the end of the day.
Humans.
We go through things just like y'all. You know what I mean?
Trust me, half the time I think my husband want to strangle me sometimes. He'd be like, Joe, get your emotions out of it. Snap back. It's so easy for you, but not easy for me.
Right.
And so, but he's taught me a lot. Like, he's taught me, like, no, like, business and personal, like, no matter what's going on, we got to keep pushing the needle forward. And he's really good about that. And so those are the things that I also learned from him, is like, you can't always wear your emotions on your sleeve. You got to know when to differentiate it. And so, shout out to the hubby, because I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
Even though I get in my little own way sometimes.
Gotta get your own way.
But I be sitting in my own thoughts, and I be like, damn, he's so right.
Right. Like, dang, I don't want to tell him no.
Yeah. Like, I want to tell him he's right, because then he's going to be like, yeah, I ain't trying to tell you.
Exactly. That's funny.
Yes.
All right, so going segue into our next segment. Into our next segment. Funny. Our last segment, next and last segment, is called the mindset shift.
Okay.
So what's one mindset shift that completely changed your life?
A mindset shift that completely changed my life would be that you can really. Oh, no, I have one. Um, we don't make we don't make excuses, we make adjustments. That's something that I had to learn. Why? Because, kind of just piggybacking off of what I was just saying, like, with my husband and all of that, like, going, like, knowing when to turn it on and turn it off, knowing not to wear your emotions, like, you can't make excuses, you have to make adjustments. So, like, just, I found myself, when I came into entrepreneurship, I would make, like, I just would excuses, like, hey, shoot this content. Well, no, I don't. I don't look. I gotta do my hair. I gotta do this. And he used to always just tell me, like, Joe, the information is the information. The value is the value. Just do it. Don't make excuses. Make adjustments. If you just certain scenarios that I can kind of think about, like, going to record for one of my affiliate partners. Hey, I left my shoes at home. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You're not gonna not go. You've already got an appointment. You gotta so pivot, like make adjustments, right? Don't make excuses, make adjustments. So that's just something that I literally had to adopt in my mind. Like you don't make excuses, you make adjustments. Like pivot when you need to pivot, get it done. Don't allow your excuses or your fear or anything to get in the way, and always know that it's bigger than you. You know, and so I try to think about that, like, you know, don't get in your own way, Joe. Like this is bigger than you. Like at the end of the day, like you are in a position to serve people, to make an impact, and it needs to get done by any means necessary.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
make adjustments and not excuses.
That's good right there. That's good right there. I think you know, like you said, the littlest things people let get in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where they're like, oh, I can't go, or no, I'm not.
Or I don't want to go.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then you operate off fear, and then you don't know what
What's in store.
blessing is in store, not only for you but for the other party. You know,
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
just sometimes gotta know and learn and identify that like it's not always about self. You know, it's about others
The
as
bigger
well.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. How do you stay grounded during difficult? I know you talked about this before, but how do you stay grounded during difficult seasons? Prayer.
God.
God.
God, my faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I have to start my days, my mornings in prayer. Like
Yeah.
I have to wake up before the kids get up, before the distractions, because I need that alone time to pray, to read my devotional, to sit in silence, you know, to see if there's something that God wants to share with me in that moment. But I might stay in faith. I like to journal, the gym. Woo, definitely the gym. Um, yeah, I would say
That's it. That's like your
that's like, and that's consistently.
like your
That's
routine.
like I cannot. It would throw my day off if I don't start my day like that. If I don't pray, read my devotional, you know. And I'm talking about I pray every single morning. My husband would tell you, go to my little room, get on my knees, and I'm praying for everybody. You know, my home, my children, my husband, anything that's laid on my heart.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's very intentional. And so I have to kind of get up before anybody gets up, because if not, I get distracted, you know, with noises and the kids. And so that I do my journaling, you know, and I get my workout in, and that's what keeps me.
Keeps you on track.
It keeps me on track 100%.
Okay, so for the viewers, so as we're talking about difficult seasons, what do you have to say to the people who, you know, are just in this hard season of where some mornings they wake up and they just like, I don't feel like, you know, I don't feel like I don't have it in me to pray, or I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have it in me to, you know, implement some type of faith-based practice in my routine. What do you have to say to them?
To honestly just keep going. Like you have to find your purpose, and you have to identify. One of the biggest things is identifying your why, right? If your why doesn't make you cry, then your why ain't strong enough.
Facts.
Right? But in those moments when you can't get up, in those moments when you feel depleted, defeated, remember that why. You know, why is it that you decided to do what you're doing? Why is it that you put the business together? Why is it that you're went this route for this career? What is your biggest why? And that why should be the drive and the engine to keep you going.
Yeah.
You know, because listen, if you operate just off motivation, like we're not always motivated.
Right.
I will lie to you if I told you that every day I wake up and I'm
Motivated. Motivation is only so strong.
Well, sometimes I just want to sleep in. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is to sleep past 7, 8 in the morning. Boy, I'm trying on Sundays, so I'm trying to sleep in. But
that's why I tell people, I'm like, my sleeping is like 9:00, 9:30.
Man, like
at the latest, you know what I mean?
And it's like, but when in those moments, revert back to your why, because your why, like my children are my why.
Yeah.
You know, like giving them a better future, you know, helping loved ones, you know, just making an impact, you know, but overall, like my children, That's what's gonna make me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just because those beautiful souls, man, they deserve the best.
Yeah.
You know, they deserve the best version of their mommy.
Yes.
They deserve, you know, everything that we're building for them.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve, you know, what their hearts desire.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
and so, you know, my babies are my biggest why. So yeah, hold on to your why, you know, take it to God, you know, even moments where you don't feel like praying, pray anyways.
Anyway. Mm-hmm.
Pray anyways. There's so much power in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
There really is.
And that one time you don't, that time you don't feel like praying, that could be that prayer that, leads you to your breakthrough.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
100%. Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain is God hears those prayers.
Exactly.
So
100%. 100%. Okay, so got one more question for you before we wrap up today. What legacy do you hope your work leaves behind?
I would say I don't know why this is gonna sound like this, but it's gonna sound like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be remembered for being the credit girl. Like I don't want to be just the person who fixed credit. Like I feel like I'm beyond
more
that.
beyond that.
Yeah, like I want people to just remember the difference that I made with that.
Mhm.
You know, whether it was getting a family into a home and showing them what was possible, you
Yes.
know, putting them in a better financial situation. And I would pray and hope that my children would see, you know, what their mommy has built,
Mhm.
you know, out of love, out of integrity, out of, you know, faith.
Mhm.
And that mommy did this because she truly had a passion for it. This was her purpose. And she was obedient to it. And with that, she was able to impact and change many people's lives.
Yes, yeah. So beyond, like you said, beyond the
credit.
surface.
Yeah, beyond that, it's deeper than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's a great way to end off the episode. Man,
This
was a great combo. Yeah, So I know, like, like you said, I appreciate you again for coming in on the platform, blessing us with all of the knowledge and all the things, the locked in trivia, the laughs, so like I said, for our new viewers, if you could share like your social media handles and where they can find you.
Yes. Oh, my social media is dang, I can't remember. I think it's Credit Jocanna. Sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good.
Sorry. Credit Jocanna is on Instagram and then on people don't really use Facebook, but Facebook is just look up my name, Jocanna, Jocanna, last name Brown. You'll find me there. But best way is probably gonna be Instagram, Credit Jocanna. You know, you can follow me there, follow the journey, and follow the content that I'm trying to keep up with.
Absolutely, yeah. That content, I see it. Y'all own it, man.
Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you again, sis. And that concludes another episode of Pro Talks. Once again, my name is Barrett Ball. Shout out again to our guest, Mrs. Jocanna Brown. And we'll see y'all next time. Peace.